Is the Bitcoin bull market about to end, and have we just started the bear market? That is the question at the moment, and I'm just going to take you through a few things to look out for going forward in the next couple of weeks to determine whether or not we are actually heading into the bear market or not. Um, in the immediate short term, what I'm looking at is this 50-week moving average, which you can see here, which is the blue line. So that's currently sat around 102,946, and we are sat at 100,000, 101,000. So we're currently below that line. Now, what we want to see is historically, if we look back during the bull run, you can see that we have actually held the 50-week at support. So you can see just here, we've held it at support there, we've held it at support here, and we came down close to it around this area as well, and that has been significant. The 50-week has been significant ever since we started this bull run back in 2022, and we finally broke out of it and held it at support in 2023. Prior to that, in the last bull run, we were holding it as support all the way up until November, the end of the bull market, basically. So once we broke down and we closed below it for a few weeks, if I just zoom in here so that you can see it a bit better, what happened was we closed below the 50-week just here. You can see on the weekly time frame, and once we had the a few weekly candles closed below, I mean, it tried to get back up on that green one in the middle there, but it failed, and then it closed below, and then that was it. It went down, it then came back up and retested it, and it turned into resistance, and then that was it. That was the beginning of the 2021 2022 bear market. So, and from that point, we dropped around 70%, I think it might have been. Let's just have a quick look. So from the very top of that 2021 peak all the way down to the bottom, it dropped about 77%. So that's what we're avoiding. And if you wanna look at how much we avoided just from if we got out at around about the 50 weeks. So say for example, it got 2 weekly closes below. So we sold out here at around the 47,000 mark, and then we left it until we got to the bottom here. The bottom, that saved yourself a 66% drawdown. See that there, 66% drawdown. And yeah, so that's essentially what I'm looking out for right now. This is our first week, and we're currently wicking below that 50-week moving average, which is totally normal. If you look here, we wick below there, but we close back above it. We wick below a couple of times here, but we close back above it on each occasion. So that's what I'm looking out for the weekly close this week, to see whether or not we get back above this 50-week. It's currently fighting with it. Now, I said this in my previous video, the other thing I'm looking out for, and the reason why I think that we might be heading into a bear market next year, is just historically. I mean, there's a few reasons. So historically, we will have a bear market in the every 4 years. So there's 4-year cycle, right? So we had a top here in 2018, 2017. So we had a top there, and then a year later we bottomed out in December 2018, and then we went on. So 4 years later we then had a top in 2021, which means we are due a top here in 2025, so 4 years later. Now, historically what's happened is when we top, we then usually bottom about a year later. So if the top is already in October, then we should assume that we're going to bottom out in October of 2026. Now, the purple line that I've got drawn on here, that is when the Fed ends quantitative tightening. So they've already said they're gonna end that in December. Now, if we go back to when they last ended quantitative tightening, so QT, this is the last time that happened. It was in August of 2019, and you could see a couple of months prior, Bitcoin had already topped out, and that was in June. So it was literally a couple of months prior. It already topped out, and then it had dropped another like 50%. Actually, I think it was more. So from the top here down to this bit, if we're ignoring the COVID dip, it dropped 52%. And if we include the recession, it actually dropped all the way down to 71%. So, and if we go back and we have a look at this, so the top currently is in October. The Fed's going to end QT in December. That's a couple of months later, so it's very possible that the top was the October one. So, but you know, what I'm looking out for is, as I say, that 2 weekly closes below that 50-week, and then if that happens, I'm going to pack my bags and I'll be back at some point next year, ready to buy the dip in the bear market, because that's sort of what I'm anticipating. But yeah, that's pretty much it for. I'm just going to keep this one short and sweet. For now, I've got a lot more to say about targets and things like that, and also I'm expecting some kind of short-term pump as well. If we do close back above that 50-week, I am hoping for a pump, and there is a reason for it, which I will explain in a future video. But for now, that's it from me. Thanks very much for watching. If you like the video, hit subscribe, hit the like button, and comment down below. Thanks very much, guys. Take care. Bye.